Welcome back to the FM LLaMa. It's the final day of Season 2. You join us at the half-time interval in our last game of the season against Pushka. We're currently tied at 0-0. You've missed absolutely nothing. We have been poor, as we have been for our last few games since we sealed the title. We have gone a little bit more attacking for the second half. We're going to show you the second half in this episode, and then we're going to get into the end of season awards, have a look at the end of season stats, and then have a little mull about where our next move might be. So let's get into the second half. You can see from the screen we've got pretty much our first choice 11 out there. Apart from we've brought Monica's boy in to play in the central midfield as, well, neither Mandris nor Pavlik have been in any kind of form whatsoever. So we're giving young Bartosz a few games. Vengranak has now picked up an injury pretty much at the start of the second half. Let's use that as an opportunity to get the rat on for the final game of the season. He's been a big part of our promotion campaign, so it's good to give him a final little run out. Finally, God, we make a breakthrough, and it is the towering centre-half, Lukasz Huszek, who gets us off and running for today's game. So, away game to finish the season. The away fans are out in force. There's at least a dozen of them. Fancy dress for the final day of the season, as of course is customary. We'll show you the form at the end of this game, although it's all pretty immaterial. The title was wrapped up with 5 games to go. We've been offered multiple new contracts by Shrewsbury. They've announced the budgets for next season as well. As the Moose just dabs one wide, they have decided to treble the wage budget. Goodness knows how they're planning on making those ends meet. And they've come up with a £40,000 transfer kitty as well for Shrewsbury to try and compete for their first season in Poland's top flight. But we're at a little bit of an impasse. We're at our first fork in the road. Got to make a decision whether we want to commit to Shrewsbury for another season, potentially for a long-term save, or do we look for a new challenge? Do we look perhaps for a country where maybe the league is a little bit more competitive? Do we look for a project where we might maybe take on a team that we might be able to bring through more leagues? Mikolaj Lebedinsky is a player I let go at the end of the season. Of course, he has come back to haunt us. So we're at a little bit of an impasse. Monica is not going to be happy, but we're going to take Lewinsky off. And yeah, so we're going to have a little scout around Europe at the end of the season and just see whether there are any jobs that maybe tickle the proverbial fancy, whether there's any projects out there in Germany or the bordering nations that maybe just might provide a bit of a challenge that might tempt us away from Shrewsbury. Certainly not opposed to doing one more season at least at Shrewsbury, trying to survive in the Polish top flight. Not going to be easy. We've got the lowest budget of any of the teams in the second tier, so I would imagine our budget for the top tier is not going to be great either, as Jakub Wojcik springs the offside trap and coolly dispatches one past the Pushka keeper. There's Donovan's favourite player there, Jagiello. Pavlik, he's dinked one over the top, and Wojcik coolly strokes that one home, 2-1. And at the end of this game as well, we're going to see who's picked up Player of the Year. If it's not Moose, I think there will be some kind of international inquiry at The Hague. We'll see who gets the Young Player of the Year as well. Maybe Moose might do a clean sweep of those awards. And we might also just check in on the squad and see that if we do decide to spread our wings and find another club somewhere in Europe, whether there might be any players who we might think about trying to take with us, who might be able to thrive or do well for us in another league. Jagiello finishes the season pretty much as he started it. getting himself injured, so we'll bring the Rosa on, push Conrado up the wing, and there's our last sub. Hopefully that'll take us to the end of the season. Let's just ease back on the attacking tactics. Referee's got the whistle pursed. He's going to bring the second season we've played in Poland to an end, and we finish with a rather nice victory away from home. Players can do their lap of the pitch, shake hands with all the fans. There's probably more players and subs than there are fans following us, but always nice to give a little bit back. So there's the final standings then. We've won the league at a canter. We've made the Polish second division look a little bit of an uncompetitive league. But now we've got to think about what we are going to do next. We did have a look at the job market just before this game, and there was not an awful lot doing, truth be told. So it could well be that, we do take Shrewsbury for their first inaugural season in the top flight. But you never know. At the end of the season, there might be clubs who just decide to dispatch their previous incumbents, looking for somebody new, and maybe Tonton might be able to take one of their jobs. What do we got in the news then? So we've got our coaching licence, and that takes us up to the A licence. That's good. There we go. Finally, the best 11 for the season are announced. Let's see if there's any surprises in there. The Rat sneaks in at centre half. Otherwise, it's that normal midfield four. No surprises that Wojciech and the Moose are the strikers. Let's see who wins the end of season awards. And there we go. Musa is indeed the fans' player of the year. Just, by a landslide, isn't it? And then Jagiello and Kuchashik as well. Nice for him to get third place. Musa gets the young player of the season as well. Jagiello was the only signing, really, so he gets signing of the season. And Zitarski gets the goal of the season. Very, very nice. So, well, let's see what the club are expecting from us next season then. Play defensively solid football. That's going to be difficult if this season's anything to go by. Make the most of set pieces. Now you're talking my language. Play high-tempo pressing football. That, I'm afraid, is a non-starter. But fight bravely against relegation. That seems like a pretty realistic interpretation of what we should be going for next season, I think. So, that also looks like they're planning some kind of stadium expansion. No idea why. Nobody ever comes. They're going to put 500 extra seats in at a cost of £1.2 million. That doesn't seem particularly good value to me. That'll get the capacity up to a shade over 3,000. Okay. Looks like the Moose didn't win top goal scorer award. In fact, he's only come third. Bit of a lean season for the Moose. Thought he'd done a little bit better than that. 13 in 27, not bad. Let's have a look at our squad and assess it then. So, if we're going to move into the Polish top flight, who is good enough for next season? Shromnik probably is just about good enough. Vengrenek, maybe. Kuchashik, probably. Husek, whether we're here or elsewhere next season, is definitely a player that we might take a look at. He's already made some improvements to his technical skills. He could be a player for next season at this club or another. Conrado has started to grate on me a little bit. He's not a very good trainer. A lot of great influence around the training ground either, but with those stats, again, if he was to come in and play next season and us not have to foot his wage bill, that would be great. Banaszewski, I don't know whether he'd quite make the step up to the next division. 7 goals, but only 5 assists. He's definitely a maybe, as Nolan Liam would say. Drevniak, he could probably step up. Bart, I think, has got some learning to do. Jagiello looks like a top-flight player. Wojciech, if he came in on loan, would be great. Musa, wherever we go, we'll always be interested in Peter Musa. And then from the bench, there ain't anything there that's going to make the step up, and there's not anything there that I would like to sit next to on a plane on a way to another club. apart from maybe the rat, just for sentimental reasons. So we are going to go and play through the summer, and in our next episode we will either be launching into a first ever season in the Polish top flight with Shrewsbury, or we will be introducing you to our new club. Thank you for everybody that's watching the Safe. Thank you for all your wonderful messages down in the comments section. All of you lovely people that are subscribing are absolute heroes. We will see you very soon for some more border adventures.